Welcome, guys, to another content here on December Christmas movies. In this one, I'm going to talk about the movie called Christmas CEO. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies that I've seen this year so far. I've seen it twice. I like it. As a guy who's an aspiring entrepreneur, this movie definitely was for me. But this movie is about a small toy company CEO who gets a once in a lifetime opportunity to merge her company with another company, which would be massive. And so if they agree to merge, it will be a mega toy company. But the issue is that she will need a signature from her former business partner, who happens to be her childhood friend who they had a business together, but they fell apart and they had 7 years without talking. So so these two childhood friends were best friends. The name is Joe and Chris. Joe Sullivan and Chris. So when Chris goes to meet Joe, it was like, wow, it's been 7 years and they ended on bad terms. But the beauty about this movie is that Joe, when it comes to the company, Joe looks at it more as of the love and passion for it. Chris grew to a point where she thought about success, wealth, etc. Chris is a person who doesn't have no Christmas decorations in her home. Everything about her is just work. She doesn't have time for anything. But Joe was one of those people that made her realize that, remember we used to do this, remember we used to do that. What like get in the Christmas spirit. And her niece, Emma, who she started to babysit because Emma's parents, they went off somewhere and they need someone to look after Emma. And Chris, who already has a lot on her plate, she decides to take care and look after Emma, which she haven't done that in years. Again, because everything about her is just work, work, work. She doesn't. Her whole life depends on work because she runs a company. But it teaches you a lesson in this movie that not everything is about work. You really have to have family time and do other things because by the end of it, you're not gonna enjoy anything. So you can make work, you can't revolve your life everything about work. So Emma and Joe are really the ones that push Chris to do certain things for Christmas and not so be entirely focused on work. But it's mostly Joe. And you can see that Joe and Chris, like they start, rekindling their relationship. But at the same time, they're struggling because they can stay away from the topic about why they fell apart and the company, etc. But I absolutely love every scene with Emma, Chris, and Joe. Those three together in every scene. I love all of the bonding scenes. I love each and every one of them. Them going skating, getting pies and things like all of that is great. Kathleen is the most irritating character in the movie. She constantly shows up everywhere where Chris is at. She's constantly bringing up the signature, signature, signature. I just find her so annoying. And I remember seeing that Kathleen character in a recurring role in Chicago PD, NBC Chicago PD. But she was so annoying in this movie. Nick, who plays a Santa Claus, he's the unsung hero of this movie. In my opinion, he's the best supporting actor of the movie. Without him, I mean, he delivers some impeccable lines in this movie. But I like the themes. I like the message of this movie. It's very sweet. Um, Again, when you're a CEO, an entrepreneur, a business leader, Yes, it's a lot of responsibilities. Yes, it comes with headaches. But again, the most important thing, and I'm a firm believer about this, you have to balance it out. You have to. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but you can make everything just work. You just can. That's why it's good to have a good team around you, have good stability. It's just important to do other things besides work. So that's why I mean, there's a reason why that movie was recommended to me on YouTube for a reason. For like it teaches you something. So but just as things were going to get interesting in the sense of Chris about to sign the deal to merge, she decided not to go through with it. And that led to her and Joe to start a new business together and I should say fall in love with each other again because I think Joe was always in love with her more than Chris in love with him. But I think that to have them start a business again, but this time to do it as a couple, you know, that's the beauty of it. But like I said, it is really is a really nice film. I really like it. Every Christmas movie, the majority of Christmas movies, they have cheesy lines and cheesy this and that. But but when you're in the mood to watch something that it feels good with no curse words, no nudity and stuff like that, these are the kind of movies that you want to see. And as the holiday season, even though I think the holidays every single day, but I can't front when it comes to those decorations, those coffee mugs, and it just brings a lot of excitement. So, but yeah, anyway, my review for this movie from 1 through 5, I give it a 4.2 out of 5 stars.